All right, it's a Thursday night, time for a Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. This is going to be a fun spotlight. We are trying to get all our electronics working. I think we're good now. So thank you. Terry Olson is our guest tonight. Thank you for joining us, Terry.
Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun because I know I've talked with you a lot about getting into the sport over this last
Yeah.
year, and it's been fun conversations. And you've had some racing recently as well. But before I get too far, I'm actually going to turn it over to Bob Gamble. Hey, Bob, how's it going?
It's going fine, John. Thank you so much. And Terry, it's just absolutely wonderful to have you on tonight for a couple of
Thank
different
you.
reasons. One, you've just gotten started. You had four successful triathlons this year, and I met you at
Yeah.
the when you volunteered at one of our club races, and I
Yeah.
was just so impressed that you,
Thank
as far as the way you were taking charge in the transition area and slowing
Yeah.
people down. And it was
Yeah.
like you were into it. And it was like
Yeah.
I thought this is a wonderful triathlete who is involved in this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really wonderful to have you in the club, and it's wonderful to have you on tonight. And
Thank you.
you for the folks who are listening,
Mhm.
Terry joined the club this year, did
Yes.
two sprints, moved up to an Olympic,
Yep.
and then jumped right away all the way up to a 70.3, and not an easy one, a challenging 70.3 at Indian Wells that was very cold. And
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about that. But one
Okay.
of the things that was interesting about your story
Yeah.
is you had four successful triathlons, but they all
Each one
didn't
with a
come.
glitch. Yeah.
Each one came with a glitch, and they weren't all that easy. And you had to solve problems on the fly. So
Yes.
what with that in mind, tell us about your first year. Tell us about the triathlon glitches that you had to overcome.
Okay.
And again, thank you for being here and welcome.
Sure. And I'm glad to tell my story because, first of all, I'm having a blast. I'm having so much fun. The best part is just really the practicing with friends is the best part about triathlons, truly. My um, my first triathlon was a sprint. Is when Nancy Jones was coaching me. Then it and I signed up and I was all excited. It was out over at Lake Mead, but then COVID hit, so they canceled it. So what Nancy Jones did goes, okay, everybody. She sent an email. I'm going to do the exact same course, but it's not going to be like a legit because they canceled it, COVID. So I did that, but I treated it just like if I got a medal and everything. And that was fun. That really wasn't too much of a glitch. That was just during COVID. So it was just for fun. But then my next sprint, um, it was out again in Lake Mead,
Uh-huh.
and I got a flat tire. And when you're out by Lake Mead, first of all, how wonderful it is to be out and swim and bike at Lake Mead. We live so close. It's beautiful and wonderful, and we're privileged to live there. But when you're get a flat tire and my nerves are shot and I'm panicking, my husband just sits down to this coffee cup for breakfast and I'm calling him, come pick me up. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm in tears. I can't fix my bike,
Well,
my tire. And even though I practiced it, because this was on my old bike and I practiced, and anyways, I couldn't do it. So my nerves are shot. So he comes to pick me up. And then finally, I don't know the time, but finally someone rescued me, changed my tire. The same time my husband comes up and my nerves are, I'm shaking because I'm kind of nervous.
mhm.
I was going to put my bike in, and whoever this angel was and says, you're not quitting. You practice for this race. You get on your bike and you go. And I'm like, okay. So that was my glitch on my second sprint.
Mhm.
And then, but so anyways, I was thankful for him to say, again, don't quit, just go. And on my Olympic, the only real glitch I had is I pushed so hard on the bike because of the hills, again, out at Lake Mead. And my legs were just noodles. I didn't practice enough going from the bike to the run at all. So big mistake on my part. So when I was getting to the run, and I even had Stephanie and Sandy and Bev helping me run because my legs were just noodles. And it was 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
We've all
my
been there.
dilemma. So that was my dilemma on my Olympic. So my timing was great, I thought, but it was just the clinch of, well, because you didn't practice. And I was like rubber legs in the heat. But then anyway, so, but again, practicing all these months for my 70.3, I just have to show you that I did get it.
Yay.
Yay.
I did, despite my glitch of my swimming. I had brand new goggles at home, but I didn't bring them. And they were fogging up. The sun was in my eyes, and I went to the wrong buoy. So I'm swimming over this way when I should be swimming this way. Anyways, I had to go all the way around. It took me a really long time. So I didn't make the cut on my swimming, and I didn't even know. I just got out, and then I just had to jump on the bike. I didn't know that maybe I shouldn't have gone. So I just got out. I don't know if that was the last person in the water or not. I really don't know. But then I was happy with my bike and swim. I mean, my bike and run after that, I really was. So each one, like I said, triathlon is super fun. I love it. I just came after 8 years of running and wanted to try triathlon. So I went on my own. I didn't have a schedule. I just like, oh, let's just, anyways, it's just so much fun. And I love the community, the Las Vegas Tri Women that Sandy Larson puts on. I'm so thankful to be part of that group. I do have to say, with Stephanie and Sandy, without them two, they coached me all year on how to run, bike, and swim in order and make sure you get in your days, because it's not easy, but it's fun. So if I could do it, anyone can do this.
Well,
So.
you just hit a whole lot of points. I don't know how to unpack all of that. But I can tell that you didn't make mistakes. You just had learnings. It's like everything that you did, you learned from. I mean, as far as the flat tire, and as far as like what it's like to run off the bike, the rubber legs and stuff like that, that's just part of it. You learned, right?
Yeah, well, and it's like you
solved
kind
the
of know
problems.
these things, but everyone is a lesson. Everyone is a lesson. So, anyways.
Now, when you volunteered for that race, for the club race, had you done the triathlon yet or not?
I've done the 2 sprints.
Okay.
The 2 sprints.
Okay. Because that was absolutely wonderful that for you to volunteer like that. You were integral part of us putting those races on.
Thank
so we
you.
We appreciate that.
Sure. And I love and I'm going to do more volunteering because it's just a way of give back. Because even when I was running for 8 years in triathlons, anytime you see somebody who's volunteering, they're there for you. So I will always have to try to give back, because that's what it all is. You help, everyone has a part.
Oh, I love your attitude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this too. I mean, it's a very honest perspective of your races, and like you said, you call them glitches. But I agree with Bob. I mean, what you did was successfully overcome problems, and a lot of times we talk about triathlons as being problem-solving events, and you were solving problems. They're not always easy, but you were certainly doing it. So let's walk back a little bit, and
Okay.
I want to hear more about your Indian Wells experience, because that's pretty amazing to go from your first triathlon to a 70.3 all in 1 year. And I want to hear a little bit about the training that you did to get ready for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
The sprints was actually a year ago, but
okay.
The sprint ones, but the Olympic, the Olympic in the 70, Um, I'll tell you how you could do it is having a group of friends to help you practice. It's literally all in how much practice you could do. And I was lucky. I do work full time. And then, you know, after work and weekends, I love the long weekend. I love the training. If I could just train all year, but then again, you want this medal for all your hard work. But so I love the training. I don't mind the long bike rides. You know, I have anxiety in the swim. I even hired an anxiety coach for 3 months when I first started, like the beginning of the year, because I know how to swim. I've known how to swim since I was 2 years old, but for some reason the water gives me anxiety. So I hired Neil as my anxiety coach, and he literally, he gives you, you know, the breathing exercises and all that stuff. So, but it's exciting. I think, regardless of my glitches, I got to train more, and it's just fun. I truly enjoy this sport.
Oh, I love it. And you know, you're not alone in the swimming anxiety. And again, I appreciate you being honest and bringing that up. It's great for people to hear that
Yeah,
others have this. I mean, even at
yeah.
Indian Wells, a professional triathlete had a anxiety attack in the swim. So it happens to everyone. And
Do you think
so
that was because of the cold?
the cold is a big factor of it. Yeah. And for people who don't know, I mean, that water was like 57 or lower. I mean, it was pretty cold.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
one of the things I was going to mention, the fact if you have anxiety in the swim
Yeah.
and you did a 1 point, I don't know how far you swam. You swam a whole lot more than we did.
Oh, well, you know, I just, you know, yeah,
And I
it
mean,
was
there's
crazy.
major kudos for doing that, as you know, that long of a swim in that cold of water
Yeah,
with the problem and dealing with your anxiety. That's huge.
yeah. Oh God. And you know, even practicing, I have anxiety still. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I know how to swim. Why do I have
Yeah.
anxiety? I've known how
Yeah.
to swim my whole life. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
It's just weird. I think about it and I get anxiety, but then it's not going to make me quit. It's just, I gotta do more box breathing, I guess. I don't know, but
Well,
it is a real thing.
and I love how you're continuing to tackle it, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know came to our different swims, and you're into open
Yeah.
water and
Yeah.
really working it, and that's how you tackle it, and I love that head-on approach. So let's walk back a little bit. You
Yeah.
had your sprint in Olympic, and
Hmm.
you talk about these glitches. What made you say, "Oh, I did these sprint in Olympics, and I'm going to sign up for 70.3"?
Because I love training with my friends and it's fun. And okay, it kind of goes back to uh, the 8 years I ran before tries.
Yeah.
I only ran because of the medals.
Mm,
I wanted a medal because I didn't grow up in an athletic world at all. I didn't start running till I was 1 month shy of 50 years old,
mm,
and I'm
Wow.
58.
yeah.
So, and I have to thank Carolyn for that because she asked me more than once to run with her. And I said, I'll go to the gym with you, no problem. Take an aerobics class, but I am not running at all. And then she goes, no, you'll love it. And I'm like, okay. So and then as soon as I ran with her, after her asking me more than once, then I was hooked. And when I remember the sprinkler sprint downtown Las Vegas was my first 5K. You would have think I was first place in Kona. I was like, I'm calling my dad. Oh my God, I did a 5K. You would have thought I won $1 million. It was crazy. I'm like, and so when they gave me my medal, because like I said, I didn't grow up with trophies or medals or anything. When I got that medal for that sprinkler sprint 5K, I was like, this is amazing. I literally, like, that got me hooked. Just that sprinkler sprint. So I did that for 8 years, and I've done like 13 half marathons and 2 full marathons. My dad actually told me, he kind of dared me to do the first marathon. He goes, well, you've done a half, do a full. And then the reason why I did the second full is just because I did the first one on adrenaline, I think. So then when I did the full marathon, my second one, just to prove that, okay, I could work hard for it and not do it on adrenaline. And then that's when I said, okay, I need to do something else. And that's when I went into tries, and I did that pretty much all on my own. And I trained for months just by myself, just swimming, biking, running, just going, oh, this is fun. Now I have to learn how to put it all together, which I didn't know how to do that until Nancy Jones told me.
I want to jump in here for a second and just acknowledge the fact that you are embodying what John had set out for our motto for this year, and which is enjoy the journey. And it sounds like you really are enjoying training, enjoying crossing the finish line, getting your medal, and you're enjoying
get
it.
over my anxiety.
Yeah.
That's, you know, my only, well, not my only, my setback is my swim anxiety. So I have to work on that. Thank you. Though.
You've apparently done pretty well. If you can do Indian Wells at 57 degrees, you know, and miss a buoy
and not get lost,
miss a buoy and go back and repeat it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was scared he was going to pull me in, and I said, no. I'm like, no, I didn't work all year.
I got this.
I'm like, yeah, no. So I couldn't. I had
That's
to.
good.
So yeah, Indian Wells, I'll never forget, ever forget.
Well, let's talk about that. I want to hear, you have this really great running background. I like the transition into triathlon.
Yeah.
You did the sprint into the Olympic, and now you're at Indian Wells. You know
Yes.
water's going to be cold. You have the swim anxiety issue that you're working through, and you're on the start line. What's going through your mind?
I just panicked in the water. But then when I literally just panicked because I didn't have the right goggles.
Did you, question for you, Teri, did you go into that acclimating corral in the water? Did you get in the water first?
No, I did not.
That helps a lot.
People do that. I saw people do that. I did not.
That helps a lot. So next time.
I know. Next time.
My sense is a lot was going through your mind as you're starting there. You got this through the swim successfully.
Yeah.
And so
I did.
Once you got going, and you went in the wrong direction, but even as you came back, I mean, did you get into a nice groove at that point?
Yeah. So once I got out, half the time I was trying not to, when I was in the water, I just, besides being, because I'm panicking that I'm, going to be the last person, I'm not going to be able to keep going in the following the race. I don't know. It was hard for me to think with my anxiety in the water. So I don't know. And I couldn't see, I just couldn't see. And it was just terrible.
I love it. And I love you being very honest about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, it sounds like the swim was a bit of blur, which I totally understand.
It is.
You came out.
Yeah. But then I got on my bike and I was happy. My bike is my favorite.
Yeah. So let's hear, you got out of the water. You must have been cold. Tell us about transition and getting on the bike.
Yeah. And I had a hard time when I got out of the water. I literally fell to my knees. Like I couldn't even help myself. I just literally buckled, and Bev and someone else had to lift me up because my legs just buckled.
Was it because they were cold?
I don't even know. My legs just buckled, but then they got me up, and I didn't have to fight for a chair to put on my wetsuit because no one else was there. So, all those chairs. And I thought, oh my God. And I was worried. I go, I bet I'm going to go in and I'm not going to have a chair to sit. In my mind, I was thinking that before I was going in. And I go, well, I could have it. I went in, got my wetsuit on, but as soon as I got to the bike, I literally, I remember Stephanie said, my girlfriend Stephanie said, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Cause I panicked about my swim. If I kept thinking about my swim, I wouldn't have been good on my bike and run. I had to forget it. I had to just forget it. Just go. Just forget about it and don't even think about it. And then on my run too, it's like, my bike is my favorite. If I literally love riding my bike. I could ride my bike for hours. It's my absolute favorite. And I'm all cardio and no weight. So I need to incorporate weight to be better on my bike. So I already know something else I need to do. But then I felt good. So after my bike, it made me calm down and made me not worry about the swim anymore. And I could just focus. And then I was happy with a smile on my face
Oh, that's
because
great.
yeah,
Well, and so now you're getting into a nice sort of groove with biking. Was there a
yeah.
favorite part on the bike ride that you liked? I mean, did you like the racetrack part of
Okay.
the bike course?
Well, I'll tell you why I love the racetrack. Well, first of all, I got to see the car was so loud. There was actually a car racing. Oh, I only saw one,
Yeah.
but he was racing around. And I liked it because you know how smooth that road was.
Like
I'm like,
glass.
let's just keep going around here 100 times because this will be just fine with me. Because I thought, even though it was flat, I thought the race road was really bumpy.
Yeah.
And I know all you fast people was like, yeah, it affected me. I'm like, I was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this road is flat, but it's not smooth.
Yeah.
Until we got to the racetrack. Racetrack was cool.
Yeah.
A
That was
lot faster
fun.
when it was that
Yeah.
smooth.
Oh my God, my bike, I could just zoom on a smooth. Well, everyone can, right? But I just thought, I was thankful that and it was beautiful. The palm trees, I saw horses, a bobcat, I swear, ran right in front of me
No way.
on the bike. Yeah. Anyway, so I thought the bike route was beautiful. I didn't like the roads. I thought they were way too bumpy. That's why I said when I got to the racetrack, I thought, oh, can't we just be on here? Just keep going around. That would have been great. So
In the future, you can absorb some of that with your tire pressure being proper. You don't vibrate as much, but that'll come down the road.
oh,
You get
okay.
that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I like the route though. It was
Oh,
pretty.
it was nice. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was super nice.
So did you have to, you felt good on the bike.
I
You
did.
apparently didn't hold back very much because you're so strong on the bike.
Well, because my mind, I didn't think about the swim, so I didn't think about the run I had to
Run.
do afterwards. I literally when I'm on my bike, I only concentrate on my bike and I don't think about anything else.
And what was that like whenever you racked your bike and started running?
Well, my legs felt better than my Olympic, which I was thankful
Good.
because I was paranoid when I got off. Oh no, what if my legs are like my Olympic? And I told you that was my glitch. They had to run with me, rubber legs or whatever. My calves hurt really bad, my calves, but the rest of my body was okay. But I did have really tight, so my calves were cramped. That's what I did have cramped legs. The whole 13 miles, I had cramped legs, but I just, it's like,
How did you fight that off? How did you deal with the cramps?
I just figured I'm on the last, I just tried really
Just
hard
keep
not
going.
to even think about it. Yeah, just keep going. And what I was thinking about too is all the lessons. Okay, well, why do you have cramps? You have to look it up and figure out, I don't know. I just figure out how I have to just keep going. It's your last leg. You're going to be done and don't worry about it. And you could sleep all the next day.
But you had a really good run. I mean, so it's like you had a good run time. So
Yeah,
that
but
wasn't-
I ran on sore legs. I did. Both my calves were cramped, but like I said, I just try not to think about it.
Boy, when you put this all together, you're gonna be awesome. It's like
Yeah, I know.
you had a really good, actually a
have
good
lessons on
swim, bike, and
everything.
run.
Yeah, I have lessons on everything. So
Well, how did you, with your running background, how did you like that that run course, and how did that run compared to other half marathons that you've done?
well, the one thing I'm proud about with my running career is I've done all different terrains. I've done, trail runs. I've done a mountain run. I call it a mountain run because when I went out to Ely, it wasn't in the town of Ely. They bus you up and then it was like an A-frame. I've done, my favorite run is the flat ones in California, Orange County, Huntington Beach. Those are my favorite. So I've done trail runs and street runs and uphill and downhill and flat and all over. So I've done all different types of runs. And I still love, and I'm signed up for the first time for the Las Vegas half marathon in February, the rock and roll marathon in February.
Oh,
I'm doing that.
oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah, that's my only race right now. I'm signed up for 2023, but it's just because I don't love running anymore. I still like it, but I don't love it. That's why I thought I can't just do running. That's why literally I had to go into tries because I didn't want to run that much anymore.
Mhm. Yeah. And so did you like running on the golf course?
Oh, that's right. Your question.
Yeah.
Sorry. The course, I thought was a beautiful course. I wanted to take a golf course and drive around it. I thought I didn't like the hills because my legs were cramped. So there was a lot of hills and they felt like mountains because of my legs were cramped, but it was beautiful. But I have to admit it was like this,
Yeah, it was.
right? I mean, it was so nice, but the hills hurt my calves a little.
Yeah.
But it was still beautiful. I love scenery. I'm a big scenery person. So, but the hills hurt a little.
It doesn't get much prettier than that golf course. That was really pretty.
It doesn't. Yeah. And sometimes I had to, the calves, whatever, I have to just figure that out. But the golf course was just gorgeous. My God.
That's tough when you're fighting that cramp.
Mhm.
So
I had cramps in the swim and I didn't, the bike, if I had a cramp on the bike, I just forget about it because I'm good at that. And then, so the whole day I had bad calves.
You were just up against it the whole time. All right. So
The whole
given all
day.
that, given everything you've been through with the swim and the cramping, the bike
Yeah.
worked really well, it sounds.
Yeah.
And tell us about what it was like when you finally hit that finish line shoot.
I'll tell you when they said my name, Teri Olson, that was like, oh my God, miracles do happen.
That's fun.
And I don't know. It was just a super happy feeling. Super happy feeling. And I couldn't done it by myself though. God knows.
Yeah, well, you've got a really great training group, and I believe some of them were there at the finish with you.
Yes, and I literally couldn't done it without him. So I hope they know that there's just no way you can't train by yourself. No. Well, you can, but it's not as fun. No. So, yeah. I
love it. Well, what a great story, and congratulations to you. I mean, it is no small feat to do one of these, and then to come up against the issues that you have is really amazing. The word that kept coming to my mind when I was hearing more about your story was this persistence, and you're very persistent, and congratulations for working to that finish line. What's on? I know you said you have one race in 2023, but what do you have other things planned for 2023 going forward?
Well, my plan is to hopefully do at least 170.3 in a year. Mm-hmm. And then, but I want to do the 5Ks and the 10K or sprints and Olympics with you guys in your group. Yep. Because you guys, your schedule is coming out soon, right? Mm-hmm. I want to do that. That's for sure. I'm going to do. Awesome. Well, our races are a lot of fun, and it's a good way to practice working through all these glitches that
mm-hmm.
So. I know. But I'm
and you're good at those.
Yeah.
And working through the glitches. Yeah.
Working through the glitches. Yeah. I have to write them all down, and maybe especially with the races that you're going to put on, then I'm going to make sure I be there to, help me out with those.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of those glitches, there are a whole lot of new triathletes in our club right now. And based on what you learned this year and the glitches that you went through, what advice could you give to them?
Don't quit. And
there you go.
And actually, okay, so I learned I have to practice more bricks from the bike to the run. Please do that so you don't get rubber legs. That's what I have to do. Get with people, because training with people is the best way, and you guys can just, so you're not riding a 3-hour bike ride by yourself. But for the new people, I just say, just have fun, because as soon as it becomes a chore, then it's not going to be fun anymore. And you're going to feel like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. Then it's not fun. And then, why do it? And then go do something else. Right now, I'm still enjoying the training so much. I want to get better as an athlete. I truly do. But just for the new people, and if they're newer than me, then they're really new, then just don't quit and have fun.
Well said.
That is a great message. And Teri, thank you so much for coming on this spotlight and sharing your story and having those words of encouragement. I think are fantastic. To be persistent, don't quit, and enjoy it. That is really
Yes.
good.
Yes, I will. And thank you guys so much. I truly enjoyed talking to you both. Really, I do. Thanks.
Thank you. It was our pleasure.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Good night.